Hi everybody, I am a new mom of an 11-month-old girl. Her name is Talai. This is her daily diaper bag that we use to go anywhere. Anytime we leave the house, we have to bring the diaper bag. It doesn't matter even if you're going away for 30 minutes. We bring a diaper bag with us. So these are the things I would pack for her if we were going on a semi-short trip. So let's say if you're flying out from Nairobi to Kisumu, these are the things I pack for her that I need from home to the airport, and then take the plane, fly again from the airport to home. So that's about 3 to 4 hours. Even though the flight is only 1 hour, it'll take about 3 to 4 hours, and you need a few essential things. So I'll show you the essential things that I use for her in the bag. And then on the side, I just have a little insulated bag. It's like a lunch bag, and I use it for her snacks and whatnot. I'll show you that later. Alright, first things first, the reason why I like this bag, it's a diaper bag. You can use it as a handbag, but that's not very convenient because you gotta hold a baby sometimes. So I just use it as a backpack. Those are the hands there. And then on the side, I just have a little tissue clipped. You know, mess happens. And then the bag comes equipped with a side pocket where you can put your wipes, and the flap for the wipe sticks out. That way you can access the wipes easily. And then now I'll show you what I carry for her. A blanket, always, even when it's hot or whatever. If it's cold, you use it to cover her. If it's not, sometimes you gotta put your baby down. Just put the blanket down and put her on it instead of the cold floor or dirty floor. So I bring a blanket with me. A jacket, whether it's raining or sunshine, always bring a baby a sweater. Because you can leave Nairobi and it's hot as hot, you get to Kisumu and it's raining, or vice versa. So I bring her a jacket as well. Most important thing, even if you have a stroller, you have to get checked anyways. So if you need to use your hands, you have to lock the baby on yourself somehow. And I bring the baby carrier with me. I've just folded it into however many small pieces. Bring the baby carrier with me, and I don't even remember which brand this is, but this one is easy. This is how it looks, very flexible, no rods or wires or anything like that. It's just all cloth. You tie it around your waist and you clip at the back. And you can just do this while your baby's sitting to your side or somebody helping you to hold her, like that. You put the baby facing you or facing the front, depending on her age. Talai can now sit facing the front, so that works because she wants to see everything. And then you put it on. You just put the arms through and lock it at the back, and she just sits securely. And that's it. So this really helps. So if you have her tied to you, then you have your hands free. You can put your luggage on your overhead and things like that. I mean, the air hostess can help you, but you have your hands free if you need. So that's that. Bring one of these, very important. Next, bring toys. They need to be entertained. A few toys. This one's from Lufthansa. She loves her bunny. She's teething, so a little teething ring helps. Things like that. Entertainment. I have a book for her, which she didn't really use because, you know, nowadays we got phones. So I don't even know where my phone is. So my phone, I have Cocomelon episodes downloaded. That way you can use it without Wi-Fi from Netflix. And you can just use it without Wi-Fi and keep her so she doesn't keep crying if she's bored. Next, we have diapers. She usually uses about 4 to 5 diapers a day, depending. But that's the average. So I bring her 4, which we won't use all of them by the time we get to Kisumu. But better safe than sorry. So I bring about 4. Again, for diapers, you have the diapers. I have the wipes, and then I also use Aramis just to put on her balm instead of powder. So this just prevents burns and things like that. A diaper rash and whatnot. So I use that as well. And then, for those of you who are super environmentally aware, let me grab have these guys. They are reusable diapers, and this is how they look. I'll show you one that's open. So it's just, this is the shell. It's just a plain cloth, and then it doesn't leak because there's like some kind of plasticky material that doesn't quite leak, but it's not plastic per se. I'm not quite sure what it is. And then this is the insert. So this is like zile napkin wazazi walitumianga almost. So this is what you use. So if you're in a hurry, you can just put it on here, put the baby in, and just lock her in. But for me, I prefer inserting them. So to insert, you just grab the insert, and there's a hole at the top, and you just insert it. I mean, better than this. So I usually do this after I do laundry. That way when I need them, they're all ready to go. But I only use these at home because I find that they're a little cumbersome when traveling. But if you choose to go the way where you're not using disposable diapers, good for you and thank you. This will work for you. So these ones also come if you change the baby. You can get a wet bag, which is this guy here. The next item in the bag is change of clothes. Very important. So because it's a short trip from Nairobi to Kisumu or vice versa, I'll just bring a couple of onesies. So these guys, it's usually quite hot, so these ones are sufficient, nice cotton ones. If she throws up or spills water on herself, spills food on herself, you just change her. I just carry a couple of those and a pair of pants, which I don't really use unless it's cold in the plane, and then you just put this on her. I have these bandana bibs. These are like my favorite things ever. You can use them for food, but they're mostly just for daily activity type things. They're quite cute, so you can just put them on different outfits, and I have them in different colors. So these are just to prevent things like spits, a little bit of water spills and things like that, so that you know how babies' neck area are usually like well, maybe not gross, but discolored. So if you have these things, that will avoid that, because it's a lot of spit and all that just going on to their clothes. So if you have this, these ones can get dirty. It's not the end of the world. These ones are easy to wash and easy to dry. That way you just have our clothes nice and clean, and you can give them to somebody else who's gonna have babies soon. So those are those. Next, always bring a hat. I always bring one for the cold and one for the sun. This is the one we've been using a lot in Kenya because, you know, no winter and whatnot. So this is just to cover her head. She has her head shaved right now, so it helps the sun doesn't hit her directly on the head and also on her face. Because if we're not going to be in the sun for too long, I don't put sunscreen on her. So I just use this to cover her face, and it works for me. So that's that. A receiving blanket you can use for so many purposes. If she's lying down or if you need her to sit, you can just use the receiving blanket. You open it up, put it on somewhere so she can sit. You can use it as a changing mat. If you forget your bib, you can just tie it around her neck, use it as a bib. If she randomly throws up, you can use it to catch throw up. Like, it's nice and useful, and it's so tiny. When you fold it up, it's just like it's not cumbersome at all. So I like these. I always bring one or two in the bag. And then just they're face towels, but I use them mostly to just clean her up. So if there's a public bathroom, I'll go put water on it and just clean her hands, her face, and whatnot. So this is the little cotton one. This is a polyester one, dries super quick, so this one is useful as well. And then an extra sock, never hurts. Next thing, lotion. Together with the Aramis, the lotion, if she's just, this is the eczema, she has a little bit of eczema on her arms, so I just use this all over her body, works fine. So I use that as well, and when my hands are dry, I use that, or the ngombe, works whichever way. So lotion and some petroleum jelly will work. Next, the bag comes with a changing pad. So this just goes on the back of the bag, and it's this padded, it's good enough. It fits her, sort of, but it's just enough for you to put her bum and her head on a clean, safe surface. So I use this for changing. You just grab it, You put it on whatever surface you have. Hopefully the bathroom you're using has a changing table, because some of them don't, especially men's. Y'all should look into that anyways. So changing pads, put it on the changing table. You don't want your baby to be touching, you know, whatever. Anyways, so you just put it on the changing table, you put her, you change her. When you're done, you fold it, you put it back, and it has its own pocket, separate from the rest of the clothes and all that. Next up, the outer zipper. Not too busy, because I don't want to carry a purse and a baby and a bag and whatnot. I just use this as my personal bag as well. So this is where I have my wallet, my phone. If I had chapstick, which I have somewhere, I'd put it in here as well. And then I carry her medication and sometimes my own painkiller. I don't know where, but for her I just have Piriton, Tylenol and whatnot. And then I usually carry syringes with me that I use to deliver the medication with. It just works better, because if it's 1 milliliter, you actually measure 1 milliliter, than when they say 1 tablespoon, because we've all seen the different kinds of, like if it's deep, you're getting more than when it's flat. So if you have a syringe, it just works better, because if it says you give her 1 milliliter, it's an actual milliliter. The other reason as well that I have this in my carry-on, if your luggage gets lost, if your checked-in luggage gets lost and your baby needs medication, you don't have to run to the pharmacy to get new ones. You just have it on. So if you're road tripping, it's quite easy. You don't need a lot of documents unless you're road tripping cross country. But if you're flying, they'll ask you for identification. And if it's an 11-month-old, if you don't have passports, I mean, if you're traveling internationally, you always have to have passports. But if you're traveling domestic flights, they'll ask you for ID. So just your regular Kenyan ID is fine. For the baby, I believe a birth certificate is fine, but I use her passport because she has one. Don't quote me on that, but look into that and see what a baby needs to do on the plane. But I think a birth certificate should be sufficient. So usually those are just put on the back, inside the bag, but somewhere that's easy to reach. Somewhere where somebody cannot reach, but somewhere where you can just grab your bag and reach it quickly. So just put that here. And then on the other side, I'll probably just close this with that. On the other side, you have another pocket that's insulated. And this is, if you're going for a 30-minute drive to the supermarket or anything like that, then I'll just put her water or Uji or anything like that in here, because I don't have to carry that much. But right now, because I'm showing you how I carry if I'm going for a bit of a longer time, then I use the little insulated lunch bag. So on here it's just insulated. Right now I just have a tiny little bottle of water. That one's mine. And then I'll show you what's in her snack bag. One other thing before her snack bag is these noise cancelling type headphones. If you can see them, it's I think it's 0 to 2 year old, these ones. I believe it's 0 to 2 years old. It's just, there's a sponge that's nice and soft that you can use for their ears. It's just when you're flying and sometimes people's ear pops, and when their ears pop, they start crying and wailing and things like that. So these ones help. Now, Talai does not like anything on her head. She doesn't even like hats on her head. So these ones did not work quite well with us. So every time we would be landing or taking off, then I'll just make sure she's either eating something or I'm breastfeeding her. So the movement of the jaw helps her ears not to pop. But if your baby can get one of these, you put these on her head, onto her ears or his ears, and they work great. So that's for those. For her snacks, right now I just have a little bag. So in here, bibs, a few snacks, these baby mamas, she loves these things. They're literally just air. They're like the lightest things on earth. But it just keeps them busy if you have to either warm their food or like grab with their food to get ready or anything like that. They can kind of sort of play with these. I also carry puffs sometimes. I think I have a bottle over there, but that's okay. It's basically the same thing. And then these are little, like this is Gerber, and it's just puree, veggie, and fruit. And depending on which airport you go through, they might say that this is too big because it's 128 ml, because usually they want 100 milliliters or less. But what I've realized is Kenya, they're not too strict on the amount of liquid you bring in. So that helps. But I know the US is a different story. They'll like literally chuck your baby food out. But anyways, that's that. Water in a sippy cup or a bottle if you use a bottle. I have to teach her to use a sippy cup because this is what she'll be using in daycare or at daycare, sorry. And then I just have fruit. So on here I have like the less messy fruit. I have grapes on the top and apples at the bottom. So the apples, what I do is I just peel them and boil them. Now, fresh apples are great, but the problem is they turn brown very easily, and she does not eat a full apple, so then if the other one is left over, it just turns brown and it's a little nasty. But if you boil them, you just boil them and then you use the water as apple juice. That way you don't have to buy the ones in the shops with a lot of preservatives. You just use the ones that come out of sort of like apple soup, but it's apple juice that come out of it, and you just put in the bottle and they drink it. And then to preserve them, just in a tin in the fridge, they're all good to go. And then every day or so you just put a little bit on their to-go containers, and she loves these things. And then you also bring a spoon or a fork or whatever you have that's easy to give them with. But with Talai now, she likes touching with her fingers, so just make sure her hands are clean before she eats. So that's that. Lysol wipes, you can bring the whole container, or you can, I think I had one somewhere, you just take a Ziploc and you take a few of them out and you put them in the Ziploc. So the Ziploc seals the moisture so that it doesn't dry out, and then that way you don't have to lug around this huge container everywhere you go. So with corona or even without corona, like people touch surfaces all the time. You don't want your baby to be touching the same surfaces, get a cold, get a flu, and all those things. So you just grab a couple, you wipe your surfaces, and you're ready to go. I believe that's everything for today. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye-bye.